What a lovely day. Look at this. Don't know what the time is. I think it's actually quite late actually. It's late in the morning because I had some other stuff to do, and so I'm a bit late this morning, but I think it's about 6:30, somewhere around there. So we're going to find this. I come to this field because I knew that they had recently cut it. And that's perfect for what I want. I might go down here, a bit of shade here in the corner, on the side. The only problem with this place is there are a lot of dog walkers, but we can get around them. Amazing. One, two, and a grumpy old man in the bush. Right. Let's see what we got going on. I haven't run this since I cut the holes in the shell, so I thought this morning would be a perfect morning to come into a nice freshly cut field like this one, because hasn't got a lot of ground clearance and it's got quite small wheels, so long grass isn't ideal for it. It won't get very far, it will make it work too hard and it won't go anywhere. This field's been recently cut in the last couple of days. Just what we want. Just had a nice conversation with that man over there. I don't know whether I've got this camera set to wide angle, so I don't know if you can see there's a man over there with two dogs. I had a lovely conversation with him. He came up to me and he said, "Oh, what are you up to?" I said, "Oh, I've got a little car, it's got a little engine on it, and blah blah blah." And he was like really interested in it. But then he turned, and I thought, And he said, "What they do is they come here. There's other people the same, and they destroy the grass." And I said, "Well, that's the problem, you see." I said, you get people that come to these fields, they race around all the time, meow, meow, on the same bit, and they do rip the grass up. But that's, you have to, I treat it as if it's my garden. I wouldn't rip the grass up on my garden, And he said, exactly. He said, that's the point. He said, so people like you that come out and you have a little go up and down nicely and you don't tear the grass up, nobody cares about, but it's the ones that come and rip it all up. And I said, I'm with you, 100%. So I thought that was going to turn into you're going to be another one of those nuisance makers type of conversations. But it wasn't. It turned out to be a nice, pleasant conversation. He was just telling me about what happens in this field and the next one. So if someone comes up to you and starts saying things like that, don't automatically go on the defence, because that can make what would be a pleasant conversation into not so pleasant conversation. But he's a really nice bloke, having a good old chat. So anyway, here we go. Let's fire it up, shall we? I haven't ran this since the last time the last time we came out, and I don't know when that was. Oh, that looks like that might be going to a little bit of jelly in there. Good job we, oh, my giddy aunt. Oh, far too much. Perfect. On. You see, these parks and fields are for everyone to use, and I think it's difficult for some people to realise that. But you've all got to use them together, responsibly and respectfully. That's where a lot of people go wrong, I think. And I am pointing at you because there'll be some of you that are the type of people that would come to a nice field like this, a gang of you, 5, 6, 7 of you, loud cars, and you just park up in the corner and take over the whole thing. No one then can come and use this field, and as well as the damage on the grass. That is, I was going to say it's bullying behaviour. I suppose it kind of is bullying behaviour. But that is what you don't do, right? Go to the edge of a field like I have and just use a bit of it. So then the rest of the field, people can walk their dogs, people can go and sit, put a blanket out, have a picnic, do whatever. You're not taking up the whole field racing around in a circle. And it's the people that do that spoil it for the rest of us. And it's the same in any hobby. You've got to be, nice, I suppose. Let's prime her up. Might have to open up the throttle a little bit. Where are we? Throttle trim. I think it was open. Oh, so it's not going to be a lot good. So, didn't really plan on doing anything this morning, but I see the car sitting there and I thought I can use a little bit of time and we'll try and get this running well. Let it warm up a little bit. At the moment, tick over is still a little bit high and it don't run perfectly, so we'll see if we can make it run quite well. Have a dog over there. The good thing about, there's a tree over there. Good thing about these cars, they're quiet. Running quite well, but the tick over is still a little bit high, and we don't really want that. So we'll turn that down a little bit. really well. Apparently they're not going to sell these anymore, these HSP Tyrannosauruses, which is a shame because they're pretty good for a budget car. Go down a little bit more. I think we've gotten this pretty close now. It's running on 25%. Running on 25%. And I think it's pretty good. Can't really complain about that. That's going really well. It's got a good acceleration, a good top speed, good high RPMs, and it seems to have a good tick over. Let's put the shell on it and see where we go from here. Now, I haven't run it since I cut the holes in the shell, so we'll see if it's going to stay cool. Oh, might be a bit rich on the low end. Don't know yet. Is it going to conk out? Not liking that very much, is it? Maybe it is. Can I get to the low end? I can get to the low end, I think, with the shell on. So we'll leave the shell on. Bit of grass in my eye. We'll leave the shell on, and we'll get to that low end. Oh, that's a little bit loose. I don't know if I like that. It's a little bit loose already. Right, see, now we can start it with the shell on. Couldn't do that before. I think that man's trying to do some dog training with his dog. Bloody hell. That can't be good, can it? Look at this. It is a brilliant car. You're a bit on the wonk. This really is a nice car. Let's see how long it'll tick over for. I think he's got a whistle. I think he is. He's doing, trying to do some training with his dog. That can't be good, can it? That can't be good. Well, he hasn't said anything. We'll carry on, see what happens. But this is brilliant. Yeah, like I say, all I was trying to do this morning, I know I say this every day, but it's just how it is. I don't ever really plan anything when it comes to this type of thing. I just see, I've got so much stuff in general life that I need to do and get on with, that I just sort of wake up and see what goes on and how I feel and things like that and what I want to do. But I woke up this morning, done a few other bits, and then I see the bag and the car and everything, And I thought, right, well, I've still got a couple of hours before I need to be at the shop. It don't open until 10 in this country. Let's I'll take this out and just have a go of it in a field, because I knew this field had been cut. So I knew that it was going to be nice and short, and I thought, well, let's go and run this, see how good we can get it to run. Because although I do highly recommend and highly support the idea of going to buy a name branded car, like one of the good ones, HPI, Kyosho, etc., I want to try and prove a point that if you can't afford those and you still really want a nitro car and you don't want to buy second hand, you want a brand new one, if you buy one of these ones, if you look after it and treat it well, it should be alright. And hopefully I was willing to be proven wrong. I was waiting for this not to work very well and to be a pain in the arse to get run into tune and to drive. But so far, touch wood, that's not been the case. It's been absolutely spot on. I haven't jumped it yet, but it's sitting there ticking over. We're running around in the field. It's been a really nice truck. See? And all it needed was a little tweak on that low needle. And now it ticks over and pulls away nicely. They're ideal because they're really quiet. You can run around in a field like this with houses over there and you won't annoy anyone because they won't better hear you. Quick enough for an adult, quick enough for a kid. And now it's going a bit funny, but there we go. That's just it's just the way it is. Starting to sound a bit lean. Maybe we need a bit on the high. But what you've got to remember is you're not going to get the quality that you would get from a HPI or a Kyosho or the likes, are you? Or Hobeo. You're never going to get that type of quality from something like this, so you'd be a fool if you was going to try and expect the same kind of quality. You know, it's good enough though. And doing this to it, ragging it up and down, it's not any good for it. Going full throttle for any length of time is no good for these little engines, but I'm trying to see if there's a weak point. Is it going to blow up, you know? Is it going to overheat? Is it something going to break? So far, it's holding up. Obviously, jumping it, going to a skate park, making some jumps, doing whatever, that will be the test, and it will break it. That will break it. You know, not many cars can suffer that. Yeah. It's not sounding very good now, is it? That low end needle seems a bit funny, but I think it's got a little bit hot. So what we can do, I need to put a hole in there really. Need to put a little hole in the side there so I can get that high speed needle. added a bit of... Yeah, it might still be a bit weak. I do think it's a bit... I do think it's got a little bit hot as... Oh dear, have we run out of nitro now? I might have run out of nitro. Oh, you cock. That's why I was doing it. That's why I was doing it. He's running out of nitro. That's why it's going a bit weak. You cock. Oh well, never mind. Well, that was running bloody minty perfect, wasn't it? Absolutely minty perfect. Morning, you alright?
Good morning. Nice and cool there, isn't it?
Oh no, that's why I picked this side.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go under that tree, but there was someone over there, so I thought I'll pick this side. It'll be alright then.
Sorry, the word's not very good. Stroke.
Oh right, okay.
Not very good. But
Alright, yeah, no problem.
you know the concrete bit,
Yeah,
right? If they brushed all that
that'd be nice,
and
wouldn't
put a cover, the whole thing,
it? Yeah.
and we'll sit there and
Yeah.
that'd be brilliant.
That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? Used to be a basketball court, didn't it, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, some people go there and play bowls, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what they used to do on there, but
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, doodles.
Have a great day, buddy. All the best. You can't find it, can you?
No. Well, sometimes he doesn't. Thinks I'm just having a look in case he did.
Yeah.
Definitely nothing there.
Looked like he had a go and then went in the bush, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
It looked like it, yeah. Well, there we go. Car's back in the bag. I've only got enough time for one tank of fuel today. I've got to go and do some other bits and bobs. But that runs really well. I think the holes, that hole there actually, was just to get to the nitro tank, but it fares really well because it puts air in there and then it goes through there and it does go over the engine, so it's all pretty functional. So there we go. If you're thinking about getting one, I'd recommend getting one of these little Tyrannosauruses from HSP, but I don't think many shops are selling them anymore. I think they've discontinued them and gone to a different brand, but I'd always recommend that you save up and get a second-hand HPI or Kyosho or something like that. But anyway, I'll see you lot later. Love life. Treat people nicely. Don't do too much for people because they'll take you for granted. So just try and get the balance right. And I'll see you later on. All the best. Look at this. Can you hear the birds? Can you hear the birds tweeting like an absolute dream? How's it going, you lot? Right, little bit of, I'm going to call this bonus thing, or whatever you want to call it, at the end of the video. I put it at the end because it's not really anything to do with RC cars or, you know, this video. But I've got this urge all the time to try and help in life as much as I possibly can. So I've got a little bit of advice for you, right? Don't set the bar in anything too high to start with, okay? So that's with relationships, that's with work, that's with most things. Because if you set the bar too high up there, you've got nowhere to go. Yeah, if you do right at the top, you've got nowhere to go, have you? You know, you can't improve on that. So if you set the bar right up there, people meet you, they get to know you, they think that that is how you are and you're just going to improve on that. But you've already put it right up there. So the mistake I made in life, and it's all completely my fault,
It's just the way that I am, and it's my problem. But when I met, I did it with all girlfriends, but when I met my wife to start with, I wanted to do everything for her. I didn't want her to have to lift a finger. I didn't want her to have to worry. I didn't want her to have to, struggle with anything. So I did everything, and I've done that ever since. So I put the bar right up there, and that's everything that I've got. I've given everything I've got from the get-go, from day one. So on the days when I haven't got everything because I've been at work, I'm knackered or whatever, my bar goes down a bit. That's seen by her as being no good. I'm no good. Well, what's the matter? We're not doing it. You're no good, sort of thing. And this isn't just with a relationship. This relates to everything, which is why I want to tell you lot, because if I can help in any way possible, I know that a lot of people watching this are a lot younger than me. I can look at the analytics, and a lot of you are below 30. Some of you are over 30, a lot of you are below 30. So this isn't a life lessons channel, and I'm only half equipped to give some sort of life lessons. But when you get your job, if you get your first job or any job, or if you find a girlfriend or a boyfriend, do enough so that you're seen as being useful and a good person, but don't put the bar right up there. Learn from my mistake. Because if you put the bar, as I said, at least if you start there, nice level, reasonably low bar, but not too low that you're just useless and you're not doing anything, you're being lazy, that's no good. Do enough, and then you've got room for improvement. And that person, whether it's your boss or your co-workers or your girlfriend, potential boyfriend, they can see then, they like you, he's good, she's good, they do well, but you've got room for that improvement, The bar can always be going up. And that's what I did wrong in life. Always try too hard and give everything that I've got. And that means that then when you can't give everything that you've got, as I say, because maybe I'm a bit tired or worn out, burned out, had a hard week. Well, every week's quite hard at work because of the stuff that I do, but and you're seen then as slacking. And that's when my wife is all the time. She never sees anything. So that's the trouble. Once you set the bar too high, that's then taken for granted, a lot of people. And there's not many people that don't take things for granted. Most people will take you for granted. That's another thing that I've learned. Most people will take you for granted. So if you set that bar high and you always do everything, what can I think of as an example? An example out of, so if you always, I think probably a lot of women will probably a lot of women will understand this. If you're married or whatever, you do all the housework, the cooking, the cleaning, the looking after the kids, taking them to school and all that, and your husband comes in, makes a mess, and doesn't take, it takes it all for granted. If you weren't there, it'll all go to pot. And there's never any sort of appreciation for it. That's because you've set the bar too high. And a lot of people are good people, but without realising it, they'll take you for granted. They're a good person. They're not a nasty person, they're not an arrogant person, but they take you for granted because it's what you've always done. And when you don't do it, they don't see that, oh, she's always done this and now she hasn't done it, maybe she's not well, let's make sure she's okay. It'll be a case of, why hasn't she done it? She's slacking. And that's the thing, and it's the same with work. If you always take up the slack of all your co-workers, and I've been in this situation, so this is how I know how it works. You got your boss there, and you're always doing the little things that your co-workers don't do. So you're doing your job, and you're doing bits of everyone else's jobs. When you've had enough of that, or maybe one day your own job is a lot, and you don't have time to do the other bits of other people's jobs, your boss will turn up and everyone will start going, oh, why hasn't John done that? Why hasn't John done that? John always does that, he's not done it. Now look at it. And your boss will turn up and go, what's the matter, John? Why haven't you done this and done that? And then you have to turn around and remind them, hang about, I always do that because they haven't done it. That part, that's their job. And they don't do it, so I pick it up and I do it. Right? That's not my job. The reason I haven't done it today is because my job, what my actual job is, I had a lot on and I didn't have time to go and pick up the pieces of what they haven't done. Yeah? And then your boss will go, he'll start to realise, hopefully, oh yeah, you're right, you know. You're not the problem, they're the problem. They're slacking. You get taken for granted. You've set the bar high. Hopefully I haven't made that confusing, but I think there's a useful lesson there. Learn off the back of my mistake, because now I'm in the situation where I'm flat out doing everything, and my missus, I'd love to be in her position. I'd love to be, because I have to go to work. I miss out on time with the kids. I don't get to be at home. Do 13 hours a day, which I do for us as a family, but then I get in, and if I'm completely knackered and I want to sit down, she says, why are you not cooking? Why haven't you done it? Why haven't we got any food? You know, and if I say, well, I've earned the money for it, so why can't you go and get the food, you know? But then you just get the old, oh, so it's a woman's job, is it? It's all about teamwork. Life is about teamwork. Doesn't matter what it is, it's about teamwork. You could be living at home with mum and dad. Maybe you're 18, 19, 20 years old and you're still living at home with mum and dad. There's still teamwork, yeah? Just because they're your mum and dad doesn't mean that you shouldn't do things around the house, yeah? I never used to when I lived at home. I moved out fairly early, but I never used to do anything. That's why I can learn the lesson now and say that that's not how it should be. Life is about teamwork. Everything's about teamwork. There should never be lopsidedness, you know? Anyway, that was 9 minutes and at the moment 57 seconds extra on the end of this video. I put it at the end, as I said, because some people might not want to watch it, and I don't want to put it in the beginning and put people off watching the video, watching the actual main part of the video. But if anything that I've said at the end here, put in the comments, have you stayed this far? I bet most of you have clicked away because you don't want to see this, but fair enough. But put in the comments, is anything that I've said resonated with you? Has anything that I've said made sense? Do you understand what I've said? And do you think I'm wrong or right? I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know your stories, and I'd love to know whether you think I'm right or wrong. And if you like this kind of life advice, I'll do more of it, because if I'm truthful, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy talking about life. I enjoy talking about the way life is, you know. In real life, when I have conversations with people, strangers or people I know, I do delve in to life, and I love talking about it. I'll see you later, you lot. Take care. Try not to take people for granted, and if you think someone's taking you for granted, depending on the situation, try to make them realise that they're taking you for granted, yeah? Because it might make them seem like a bad person when they're not really. They've just not realised that they're taking you for granted. I'll see you later.